Hello, welcome to Good Minds Learning. In this session, we will look into the impact of the British rule in India. Learning objectives of this chapter are: how British administration reshaped India's civil services, judiciary, police, and army. The land revenue experiments, permanent Zamindari, Mahalwari, Rayatwari, and their social impact. Birth of modern education and its long-term effects. Evolution of constitutional laws from the Regulating Act in 1773 to the Government of India Act in 1935. Administrative and judicial systems. First, we will look into administrative systems. Civil services. Lord Cornwallis introduced the modern civil service system. The problem: initially, the East India Company allowed private trading, which led to widespread corruption among employees who made illegal profits. The solution: in 1773, the Regulating Act was implemented to control corruption. In 1800, Fort William College was established in Calcutta to train civil servants. In 1853, competitive examinations were introduced for civil service appointments. Did you know? Lord Cornwallis famously declared that all the natives of Hindustan are completely corrupt, which led to Indians being given only lower grade positions in the administration. Let's move on to judicial system. The dual administration introduced in 1764. After the Battle of Buxar in 1764, the Mughal Emperor Shah Alam granted the British Diwani rights, the authority to collect land taxes in Bengal. This created a dual governance system where British collected taxes and handled civil matters. Mughals retained criminal justice authority. Warren Hastings court system introduced in 1772. Two types of courts were established in each district: Diwani Adalat, civil court for property and personal disputes; Fauzadari Adalat, criminal court for crimes. How justice was dispensed: Hindus were judged according to Hindu scriptures. Muslims were judged according to Shariat, that's Islamic law. British legal procedures were gradually introduced in criminal courts. Now let's see. Police system. Organizer. Lord Cornwallis restructured the police system in 1793. Structure. Superintendent of Police SP, head of district police. Stations. Districts were divided into police stations. Kotwal, in charge of each station. Chaukidhar, village level security officer responsible for thefts and crimes. Did you know? The severe drought of 1770 weakened law and order, prompting major police reforms. The Indian Police Act of 1861 became the foundation of modern Indian policing, though Indians were barred from senior positions. Let's see. Military system. Strategy. The British used Indian soldiers to control India while maintaining British officers in command positions. Hierarchy as follows. British officers, all senior positions. Indians could only reach the rank of Subedar, highest available to Indians. Coolie soldiers. Most Indians served in basic military roles. Did you know? After the 1857 revolt, the Peel Commission recommendations led to a complete redesign of the military system to prevent future uprisings. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you are enjoying the session. Please like and subscribe to our channel, Good Minds Learning. Do not skip the content. If you find it is slow, then watch it with 1.25x or 1.5x speed. Land revenue systems. The British needed steady revenue to pay £400,000 annually to the British government, leading to three major land revenue systems. 1. Permanent Zamindari system introduced in 1793. Where Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, Andhra, and Varanasi. Implemented by Lord Cornwallis. How it worked. Zamindars became landowners. They paid fixed annual taxes to the company. They could collect any amount from farmers. If Zamindars failed to pay, their land was confiscated. Impact. Created a loyal class of Zamindars who supported British rule. Farmers became heavily exploited and lived in perpetual debt. Agricultural laborers faced job insecurity. Did you know? Charles Metcalfe observed that Indian farmers were born in debt, lived in debt, and died in debt due to this exploitative system. 2. Mahalwari system. Where Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, and Delhi. Implemented by R. M. Bird and James Thomson. How it worked. Revenue collection was done at Mahal, Taluk level. Both big and small zamindars participated. Village communities were collectively responsible for tax payment. Impact. Marginal farmers and agricultural laborers suffered under zamindar exploitation. 3. Rayatwari system 1792 to 1801. Where, Madras and Mysore regions. Implemented by Alexander Reed in 1792 and Thomas Munro in 1801. How it worked. Direct relationship between farmer and company. Individual farmers were recognized as landowners. Farmers paid taxes directly to the government. 30-year tax tenure with periodic reviews. Impact. Gave land ownership rights to farmers. High tax rates forced farmers to borrow from moneylenders. Many farmers lost their lands due to inability to repay loans. Overall impact of British land tax systems. New social classes, created a new class of exploitative zamindars. Landlessness, many farmers became landless due to debt. Commercialization, land became a commodity that could be mortgaged. Agricultural focus, agriculture shifted to producing raw materials for British industries. Money lenders became powerful due to farmers' constant need for loans. Modern education system. Early developments. Traditional education. India had its own educational systems before British rule. Initial British schools, only for British and European children in India. Warren Hastings' contribution. In 1781, started Calcutta Madrasa. In 1792, Jonathan Duncan started Sanskrit College in Banaras. Lord Macaulay's education policy introduced in 1835. Architect, Lord William Bentinck appointed Macaulay as Education Committee chairperson. Macaulay's controversial goal, creation of a new class of Indians who are Indian by body but British in intelligence, opinion, and taste. Key changes. English became the medium of instruction 1830s onward. Western education system was introduced. In 1854, Charles Wood's commission led to establishment of universities in Calcutta, Bombay, and Madras. Positive impact of British education. Modern thinking. Indians developed democratic attitudes, rationality, and secular outlook. Nationalism. Paradoxically, British education fostered Indian nationalist ideals. Literature revival. Local languages and literature flourished. Critical media. Periodicals emerged that questioned government policies. Social reform. New social and religious reform movements began. Global awareness. Indians learned about freedom struggles worldwide. Cultural pride. Indians rediscovered and appreciated their rich traditions. Intellectual influence. Ideas of thinkers like J.S. Mill, Rousseau, and Montesquieu inspired Indian youth. Did you know? British education, intended to create loyal subjects, ironically produced the very leaders who would fight for India's independence. Constitutional development. The British implemented various acts to address growing problems and Indian demands, which eventually formed the foundation of India's constitutional framework. East India Company period 1773 to 1858. Regulating Act introduced in 1773. Background. Widespread corruption in the East India Company after acquiring Diwani rights. British MP Edmund Burke called the company's profits criminal tax. Key features. Centralization. Bengal Presidency gained control over Madras and Bombay presidencies. Governor-General. Governor of Bengal became Governor-General of all three presidencies. Supreme Court. Established in Calcutta with one Chief Justice and 3 judges. Control. Other presidencies couldn't declare war without Governor-General's approval. Pitt's India Act in 1784. Purpose. To fix problems in the Regulating Act and clarify powers between company and British government. Key features. Board of Control. Replaced Board of Directors with 6 commissioners. British supremacy. Declared that East India Company ruled in the name of British Empire. Restricted powers. Limited the political rights of Indians. Direct control. British government became the ultimate ruler of India. Charter Acts. These acts renewed the East India Company's license to operate in India. Charter Act of 1813. Key features. 20-year extension. Licensed the company for another 20 years. Free trade. Ended company's trade monopoly. Allowed other British traders. Christian missions. Permitted Christian missionaries to work in India. Governor-General powers. Board of Directors could appoint Governor-General. Did you know? This act marked the beginning of systematic Christian missionary activities in India, alongside English education expansion. Charter Act of 1833. Key features: Unified administration. Governor-General of Bengal became Governor-General of India. Complete control. Governor-General gained authority over all trades. Executive powers. Could make decisions on war, peace, and diplomatic relations. Non-discrimination clause. Barred discrimination based on religion, birth, or skin color. Legal expertise. Mandated appointment of a law professional to executive committee. Open trade. All British companies could trade in India. British government period 1858 to 1947. After the 1857 Sepoy Mutiny, the British Crown took direct control of India from the East India Company. Government of India Act 1858. Background: the 1857 uprising exposed the company's mismanagement. Key features: direct Crown rule. East India Company's license was cancelled. Viceroy system. Governor-General became Viceroy. Lord Canning was first Secretary of State. New cabinet position created for Indian affairs. Council of India, established to assist the Secretary of State. Did you know? Queen Victoria Proclamation on November 1, 1858, promised the all-round development of India under direct British rule. Indian Councils Act 1861. Significance: first act to allow Indian participation in lawmaking. Key features: Indian representation. Indians could participate in legislative processes. Policy of association. Strategy to understand Indian aspirations. Emergency powers. Viceroy could issue ordinances during emergencies. Indian Councils Act 1892. Background: Indian National Congress criticism led to expanded representation. Key features: increased membership. More Indians in regional and central legislative bodies. Budget discussions. Legislative councils could discuss budget matters. Question hour. Members could question government with 6 days' notice. Indian Councils Act 1909 Minto-Morley reforms. Background: named after Viceroy Lord Minto and Secretary of State Lord Morley. Key features: expanded legislature. Central legislature membership increased from 16 to 60. Provincial expansion. More council members in provinces. Elections. Members could be elected to legislatures. Separate electorates. Created separate electoral colleges for Muslims. Did you know? This act introduced the controversial divide and rule policy by creating separate electorates for Muslims, laying the groundwork for future communal divisions. Government of India Act 1919 Montagu-Chelmsford reforms. Background: Indian participation in World War I led to demands for greater representation. Key features: bicameral legislature, created lower house and upper house. Dyachi, introduced dual governance at provincial level. High Commissioner, appointed for India. Local self-government, promised improvements. Separate budgets, provincial budgets separated from central budget. Extended separate electorates, for Muslims, Sikhs, Anglo-Indians, and Europeans. Government of India Act 1935. Significance: this act became the foundation of the Indian Constitution. Background: based on the 1928 Nehru Report led by Motilal Nehru. Key features: federal system, United Indian Principalities, British regions, and Dominion states. Reserve Bank of India, established the central banking system. Central Dyachi, introduced dual governance at the center. Provincial autonomy, abolished Dyachi at provincial level, granted autonomy. Federal Court, established for constitutional matters. Did you know? Most provisions of the Indian Constitution are based on this 1935 Act, making it one of the most important pieces of legislation in Indian history. Let us summarize. The British legacy. Positive impacts. Administrative unity, integrated fragmented India under one system. Modern education, introduced Western education and scientific thinking. Legal framework, established modern judicial and legal systems. Infrastructure, built railways, telegraph, and postal systems. Constitutional foundation, created the basis for democratic governance. Negative impacts. Economic exploitation, drained India's wealth to Britain. Social division, promoted communal divisions through separate electorates. Cultural suppression, attempted to replace Indian culture with British values. Political subjugation denied Indians meaningful political participation for centuries. Agricultural exploitation created systems that impoverished farmers. The great irony. The British, while trying to create loyal subjects through education and administrative participation, inadvertently created the very leaders and systems that would eventually lead to India's independence in 1947. For your reference. Key terms glossary. Diwani rights, authority to collect land revenue. Dual administration, system where British controlled revenue and Mughals controlled justice. Zamindar, landowner responsible for collecting taxes from farmers. Riot, individual farmer, cultivator. Mahal, administrative unit similar to modern taluk. Dyachi, dual system of governance. Viceroy, British Crown's representative in India. Separate electorates, different voting systems for different religious communities. Quick timeline memory booster. 1764 Battle of Buxar right pointing arrow company gains Diwani rights. 1773 Regulating Act. 1793 Permanent Zamindari settlement. 1835 Macaulay's Minute on Education. 1857 Sepoy Revolt. First Indian universities founded. 1858 British Crown takes over. 1861 Police Act. 1885 Indian National Congress born contextual. 1935 Government of India Act.
Thank you for watching this video. If you have liked, please share it with your friends and like-minded folks. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon.